Customer brought this bike to me. He says that it died on him while he was out there riding some really deep mud, working the bike pretty hard. It's hard to start. He drained the oil when they got back and said that it looked like there was dirt in the oil. He's flushed the oil a couple of times and keeps saying that it looks like the oil is frothy, kind of milky. And then he also said that he forgot this oil screen when he drained the oil the first time. And when he pulled it out after draining the oil a couple of times, he said it was just coated, caked in with stuff. So, and the way to check these, you have to look on the inside of these filters. I can see there's still a bit of material in there. Looks black. So I just got it draining out all the rest of the oil that's in there. First thing I'm going to do is take this magnet. Like I said, I always like to run a magnet inside of these just to see if we can get anything. You know, it's good practice to check, especially if you are concerned that your engine has like stuff in it. This is a good habit to get into. And I literally pulled out a clump of something that looks just like dirt. Look at that. Wow. And there is junk all over this magnet. I mean, it looks like dirt. But it's got a lot of shiny material in there. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, straight up looks like dirt. Let's do this again. I can feel it's gritty in there. I can definitely feel that it's gritty in there. Oh, man. There's a bunch of stuff in this motor. And that looks like bearing material. So that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. All right. Next, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this valve cover off. We want to get in there and take a look at the valves, see how they're looking. He said he replaced the spark plug, so I'm assuming the spark plug looks new. I put this plastic bag over the intake when I washed the bike, so I didn't get any water in there. If you look in here, you can see, flashlight. You can see there's a lot of dirt in there. Like, if you look at that, that's an abnormal amount of dirt. Throttle body looks clean. Let's see if we can get a shot in there. Throttle body looks super clean. Everything looks super clean right there, but there's a good amount of dirt right there. I don't like seeing inside the air, past the air filter. First things first, get your spark plug cap off. Set that up there. We're gonna pull this breather hose off for the valve cover. Set that down there. Next, we're gonna take off our valve cover. This 2024 250 has two bolts up top. They're 10 millimeters. All right, let's take a look at these valves in here. Right off the bat, you can see some stuff. You get off the bat, you can see this stuff sitting here. It's up here. Huh. This goes to your vent breather. That vent breather right there. Now the thing is that's not supposed to be melted like that. That's not supposed to be that loose. You can see the melted plastic on the edge of the cam right here. And you can see the melted plastic on the inside of where this is. It's just got a tube. And it's completely blocked off. There's no, well, there's maybe one little hole in bottom there where it could breathe, but completely blocked off. Is that dirt? No, it's not dirt, it's melted plastic is what it is. And it's completely closed that hole off. So that's not good. That's a bad sign right off the bat. That means that that's gotten really hot. The other thing is this cam is scorched. I mean, this cam is fried, totally done for. See how flat that is and how much marring there is, and oh, that's bad. That's bad right there. Obviously that's really bad. It should never get hot enough to melt that plastic. So something's going on there. Let's rip the spark plug out really quick too, so we can turn it over. It's at 14. Go ahead and drop it in here. Use a little extension. Yeah, spark plug looks brand new. Brand new. All right, next thing we're gonna do is take off this clutch cover, and we're gonna take off this brake pedal. That way we can get a straight shot in here and see what's going on with the clutch. And just use one of these little spring puller tools and pull that spring out of there. And then behind here, on the back side of this, is a 13 millimeter. And sometimes you can sneak them through here. Doesn't really look like this one gives you enough room to get the whole brake lever out, but just laying it down like that, be fine for now. Go ahead, get your 8mm. We're gonna take off clutch cover. Visual inspection right off the bat, the clutch doesn't look that bad. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna drain the coolant. Get that out of the way, that way we can take this whole clutch cover off. The foot pedal itself off. And then it should slip right through. A T25 or a T30 it looks like. T25. Go ahead and slip that bad boy right back through there. Now we got our whole foot pedal assembly. Put them together. Set it off to the side. Now let's drain some coolant. I'm gonna clean out this oil pan. I'm always a big fan of anything that comes out of the bike never goes back in. So I'm not gonna do a super job cleaning up this oil pan, but it's my recommendation. Okay, that's done. 2024. I don't remember when they actually did it, but they changed the cap for the coolant. I don't have the tool, but you just push it down real hard, twist it, comes right off, quarter turn, no big deal. Take this bolt down here on your water pump. It's the lowest bolt. Most of the time you can actually kind of see the copper crush washer that sits behind it. It's gonna be your oil or your coolant drain. So he's running Coolanol. If I were to guess, blue. KTM, Husqvarna, they recommend the Motor X. It's pink. All right, so now we've got that done. And come over here and take this coolant line off, and I'm going to take it off both the top and the bottom. Just going to make it easier. Get that hose all the way out. Take the water pump off first. So it's a 6. Take the water pump off first. Impeller looks good. Now we're just gonna work around and take out all these. If you're taking this cover off, it's a good idea to replace the gasket that sits behind it. Cheap insurance. 10 mil. Shouldn't be on there crazy tight. You can kind of hold the clutch back and loosen it. These can be tricky to get off. I would not pry on it because they're plastic. So this cover is not easy to get out of here. As you can see, I'm running into the frame right here, and I'm trying to fight this shaft for the water pump. I believe these are T25. So I went ahead and clicked it in gear because it was just spinning the clutch. I'll make note of where he's got his clutch ring set to, so you can change the spring tension on this clutch spring by moving these holes. So he's in a number 2, which is the middle ground, which is fine, which is good. So where I always set up a new recluse is in the number 2 slot. You have your ring and your spring, and then be really careful with this one. It says top on it right there. You always want the top to be facing out towards you. Put that upside down. Initial inspection of the clutch. It looks okay. Take all these little guys out. That magnet though. Clutch disc look good. Steel disc look good. Steel clutch. I don't see any burning or bluing or anything like that. So, again, we didn't have a complaint of anything with the clutch going on, so. So we're gonna take this nut off. Okay, open up the wings on that. And I believe it should be a 27. Yeah. Okay, we got our washer, our locking washer. We'll go this way. Our nut. Take our inner clutch basket out. There's a thrust washer behind it, so you want to be careful of that. Then we'll take our outer clutch basket out. You'll see it just comes right out. And then in here there's a bearing. Actually, there's 2 bearings. They're split. So you want to take these bearings out and look at both of these bearings as well. So we're going to get started on taking the motor out of the bike. Not something that I anticipated doing today, but it does need to be done. So again, spring tool, just springs off of your header. We're going to start at the front. Springs off the header. Springs off in this middle section right here. We need a 10 mil. See it loose, lift the pipe off, you got your header off. And grab your 8 mil and take these 2 bolts out. Don't drop them. Now we've got our muffler off. header. I like to keep them together. Good. There it is. So I recommend just taking the covers off right away. Zip tie. Zip tie. And then we've got an 8mm here. One. And we'll go to the other side, do the same. One and 8mm. So I'll go ahead and get rid of this bolt here. This bolt goes through your chain guard and into your slave cylinder. Take that off and take this 10mm out. And just take your chain guard off. Next, we're gonna get this whole subframe loose. Now that we took our exhaust pipe off, we can go ahead and get the subframe up in the air. It's just these T45s here and here. And then you should be able to lift the entire thing up after we take the intake boot off from inside of here. The easiest way to get to this intake boot is gonna be coming up from right here to get to this hose clamp and then taking it off of the actual throttle body itself. We'll take the throttle body off once we get the subframe flipped up. T45 for the subframe bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and take this lower one all the way out. And then just loosen this top one because we're gonna leave the subframe on it. Go over to the other side, the same thing. Take this one all the way out. And loosen this one. Okay, now that we've got that done, we're gonna grab our 6mm again. I put it on an extension. Come up here and get that hose clamp loose. Okay, it's nice and loose. And you can go ahead and pick up on this back end. You can see it's pretty loose. I'm gonna bounce it a couple of times to try and work that hose or that intake boot off of the throttle body. And then as you're tipping up with it, just pay attention to the wires up here. You don't want to pinch any of the wires. I'll move this spark plug lead out of the way. And now it doesn't want to stay there, so I'm gonna grab a little piece of wood and help prop it up for now. So now we got that out of the way, we're going ahead and take off this throttle body. Best way to do it would be to come at the head from this very first one right here. My breather tube's kind of falling down in there. There we go. Now that I've got that one loose, I'm just gonna kind of work this throttle body out of its spot, back and forth. You can use a little flat blade screwdriver, but just be careful on the rubber parts of the boot. I'm just gonna work it off by hand. All right, so now throttle body is off. We've got rid of our throttle body. We're good there. One other thing we are gonna need to do is this gear position sensor here. It runs down to here. You want to unplug it. Pull this line out. And then you're gonna want to follow your stator wires up. And same thing, follow them up. These ones come up into here. There's a zip tie right there. Get in here and snip that zip tie. All right, so we disconnected our stator wires here up at the subframe. I'm gonna pull these wires down through the frame, make sure they're nice and loose because they're gonna come out with the bike. Slave cylinder. So we're gonna pull the slave cylinder right now. Go ahead and pull your slave cylinder out. Careful of the gasket behind it. I'm gonna set that off to the side. I like to bring it around and kind of hang it on the frame. I'm gonna get rid of this coolant hose right here. Set that aside. Okay, we're pretty freed up there. Next thing we want to do is take these motor supports off. So that's the thing. All right, now that we've got our motor supports out of the way, what we're gonna wanna do next is take off our starter lead wire, and we're gonna wanna take out our coolant temperature sensor wire here. So there's your starter wire, there's your coolant temperature plug, on the back side of the head there, and we're gonna take this out, unplug it. Unplug that wire there. We're gonna take a 10mm and take that off right there. Now our starter is disconnected. All right, so I went ahead and I got the motorcycle up off the ground. We're gonna need to take the rear tire off, so we're gonna start there. Grab the 30. Next goal is to get the chain off of your sprocket. We're good there. And then we're going to take this one out. I believe it's either a 17 or a 19. Let's check. Definitely a 19. And then we're going to loosen up these two frame mounts. They are going to be a 13. All right, I've got this nut out. We've got these two loose. I've got this positioned underneath my frame. I'm going to take the rear shock out now. 13mm on those. Take these two shock mount bolts out, lift up on the swing arm a little bit. That'll kind of come out. And then take your bottom one out. Remove the entire shock. And now you can pull your swing arm. Swing arm pivot bolt. Go ahead, let your swing arm tip back. All right, now that we're here, all we got to do is take out these two mounting bolts and take the entire engine out. Go ahead and rip those out. those out. I'm gonna zip tie my throttle body out of the way so I don't have to worry about catching it on my way out. Now we'll give it one more check before I start pulling on this thing. To make sure that your stator wires and your gear position wires are out of the way. They're not gonna get snagged. Your throttle body is out of the way. This coolant hose. Nothing on this side. We took our starter off, and we also took our coolant temperature sensor off. Everything looks clear. We've got our swing arm pivot bolts out, and we've got our 2 motor mounts out. So, as easy as that. Up, turn sideways and out. Now we've got our motor on the bench. Look at it.